Here we have a absolutely gorgeous Chinese boeuf oxblood vase. You'll have to excuse my French pronunciation there. Languages were never my forte, I'm afraid. But it is a really gorgeous flambe glazed vase. Absolutely gorgeous. The richness of this oxblood vase, I'll stick to the English, I think, is just quite amazing. It shines with the most rich and deep luster you could possibly imagine. It really does draw you in. You can probably even see my reflection in it as I do this video. So I hope I combed my hair. But as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful all around, in gorgeous condition. It's obviously a vintage piece. Now, unfortunately, I can't tell you how old it is. Chinese porcelain isn't one of my fortes. But I do know it is absolutely stunning. I did get very excited when it came into our possession, because if you look in Miller's Antiques for 2016 to 2017, you see some very similar vases to this, with market values of £4,000 to £5,000. I mean, they clearly, the real vintage ones clearly go for some massive money. And funnily enough, this is very much in the same design. Now, I spent more time than was clinically sane trying to figure out the Chinese hieroglyphs here, and it didn't seem that it was one of those 18th or early 19th century pieces which could command crazy money. But I still don't know, to tell you the truth. I went a little bit sort of character crazy looking at all these different Chinese characters. I just can't imagine what it's like for a 4 or 5 year old Chinese kid trying to learn these. But I think this is probably an early 20th century example. It's certainly not modern, as anyone could tell, even if they have a total illiteracy of Chinese characters. But it is it's a beautiful piece. I find it very mesmerizing to look at it myself. It's in very good condition. It's one of my, I'll probably get accused of saying it again about these videos, but again, this is one of my favorite pieces. And it's actually sitting on my desk in front of my computer, as I do a lot of the descriptions for the Timeless-Antiques.co.uk website. I just think it's rather gorgeous, and it doesn't have any hint of damage or restoration to it. So, like I say, I doubt, although I can't say with any certainty, that it's one of the 18th or 19th century Saint de boeuf oxblood flambe vases, which is worth £4,000 or £5,000, even more in dollars. What I can say is that we're offering it for a ridiculously competitive price, simply because we're not sure. But it's clearly gorgeous, and we're offering it at basically at a price which is probably going to leave us wincing if somebody comes back to us later and says, well, do you know what you sold? But there you go. That's life in the antiques trade. Sometimes you 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 sell things and then you live to regret it afterwards. But there you go. It's lovely, and it's looking for a new home, obviously, and having compared the flambe glaze to many, it's hard to articulate how gorgeous this is. It really is the deepest Saint de boeuf blood red glaze. It's absolutely gorgeous. And quite frankly, it's one of those pieces that if we don't get the meager price we're asking for it, I'm happy to keep for an eternity. It can sit on my desk because it's simply beautiful. I love it. I'm obviously falling in love with the vase is probably not the healthiest thing to do, but it's just beautiful. So once again, there's the underside, and like I say, I'm kind of convinced now. I got very, very excited when it first came in, but I'm pretty convinced now this is probably from the early 20th century. So worth every penny of what we're asking for it, and many more besides. But again, I'm not an expert on these things. It could be we might be basically asking the price of a Lada for a Ferrari 360. I really am not sure. But as long as as far as we're concerned, many things transcend money or profit. As long as things find an appreciative, loving home, then we're often happy that we've helped. It's a simply lovely little vase in just the most gorgeous glaze. And to think that the Chinese were doing these glazes 300 years before, us in the West, before we had flambe glazing techniques is just, quite stunning. So there you go. It's a gorgeous vase. I've talked way longer than I should have over this little thing. But some pieces do capture your imagination, and this is certainly one of them. So it's looking for a good home and somebody who appreciates these things. Thank you very much.